Trump and the Two Trumpets, from the least to the greatest, a nation's reprieve. Nineveh again. They asked Jesus for a prophecy concerning the end times. They give him a sign. He gave him one sign. The sign of Jonas. As I brought up in several of my videos, forget the whale. Forget the story of Jonah as far as Nineveh. See America in its place. From the least to the greatest, God's exposure and cleansing of this nation. A man who reluctantly took the office of president, entered the race, was dropped on our shores. His name was Trump. He addressed the message to those that are the least, to those that are the greatest. And he spoke a message that they will yield to that message. From the least to the greatest, giving this nation a reprieve. That may, sometime in the future, go back being as Nineveh was, or as we were, and having God have to judge us. But for this moment, this will be a moment of reprieve. Now I know at this moment there will be those that disagree with this. It's to be expected. I have asked the Lord in a couple of my videos back in 2013, prior to his even running for president, and hearing all these prophecies about he would run for president and win the election, which was fulfilled. And there were those that said he would run for not just 4 years, but for 8, which appears to be unfulfilled. And we wonder, how is it that he's not president? Well, it gives appearance. Well, at this moment it's playing out, so I don't want to jump the gun. I've had it said to me back in 2013 that this matter of justice would not be seen because this nation has rejected the justificational work that his son had offered, that corrected the greatest injustice ever to be served upon humanity, not just this nation, but the whole world. That injustice being our being born to the fallen loins of Adam and Eve and being under the wrath of God, which would constitute a great injustice in that we weren't there to make that decision as they made. And simply because we were born to the Lord, we were under the wrath of God, it seemed like an injustice. But God heard that cry. He heard that before the world ever began. And to the offer of his Son, he has corrected the greatest injustice to the justificational work of his Son, who knew no sin and became sin, that we might be the righteousness of God and restored to a sonship which was never manifested to Adam and Eve, and in its place were manifested sons and daughters of fallen men. That message has been going on for thousands of years. It was a mystery in the first part of human history, not until 2,000 years ago, when the manifestation of the Son of God in the mode of a Son of Man taking on the fallen nature of Adam. He who knew the sin became sin that we might become the righteousness of God. One man got us into this mess and made us all unrighteous. Another, who knew no sin, became sin. It's only fair. He corrected the greatest injustice. This, and this alone, is what saves all humanity willing to embrace it. Beyond some secular or religious ideas, embracing his finished work before the world began. This reprieve is in hope that humanity might embrace. This is justification work of the Son of God that restores our bodies to the mind of Christ in our human spirits, giving us a new mind, thus saving us spirit, soul, and body. He came to save our soul, and in saving our soul, saves our body. With this fallen soul, we are cut off from God. Thus it affects our bodies. But through the mind of Christ in our human spirit, that sustains this body till such time that we appropriate what it is that He accomplished. The promise of the new mind in our spirit that would give us a new body through the power of the Holy Spirit by the grace of God's justification work before the world began. It's a message I've been putting out and placed on YouTube for the last 10 years, with few to observe it and understand it. It's available for all to listen to. You have a reprieve. What will you do with this reprieve? Stay with your secular mind, your self-willed religious mind? Or will you let that go and gain this mind that's in the Spirit and find a true unity of the Spirit in a bond of peace that passes all our understanding and wakes us to the fact of our sonship, restored, Christ in you, the hope of restored lost glory, the glory of our sonship, replacing it with what we have become in our flesh of race, culture, secular religious creeds, and opinions of gender, and taking on this new creation, new to us, and become on the outward appearance of what we are inside under this mask, the Son of God.